Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Do a little whip and chat. Hopefully my husband goes and gets some mail today. I have a package. Nothing exciting, but I get a package. It's always fun to get mail. I'll show you what I'm working on right now. You've seen it 100 times. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Subscribe if you'd like. I don't know what to say. Ring the bell. I'm a random poster, so sometimes I post a lot and sometimes don't post very much, so I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way life goes. But if you're interested, I'll put the picture in right now. Okay, here we go. So, I don't know what's up with me. I don't feel like doing squares. I feel like doing color blocking, so yeah. We'll just go with it today. I feel like doing a whole bunch of 310s. 310 is the V. V for victory. So yeah, anyway, what am I going to talk about today? Today I'm going to talk about, I've had a poopy week. Today is Saturday. I'm looking forward to Monday because Monday to me is the first day of the week. I am really looking forward to Monday. I know there's a lot of other people who are really looking forward to Monday as well. You know who you are. So I got a text from my sister, Mindy, and she said, well, let me back up. My sister Mindy is my second to oldest sister. She's my mom's oldest daughter. My dad's daughter is older than us. She always lived with her mom. I don't know her that well. Her name is Judy. So Mindy is always to me the oldest sister. She was 12 when I was born. She got married when I was in first grade, I think. And her first child, Mindy Lynn, was a little girl, and she died of crib death. They never could figure out why. Her second child was a boy. His name is Christopher. And then she had Matthew. Then she had Maria. And then she had Sierra, and then, or no, Cheyenne, and then Sierra. So she has 3 girls, 2 sons, and her first child is deceased. And it's horrible. She was a sweet baby, and it was devastating. Everybody was devastated. They still, to this day, don't know why she passed away. But anyway. So Christopher was born, her second child, and he was born without a lens on his eyeball. And just in one eye. So her husband at the time was in the military, and he was in the Navy, and he went out to sea, and Mindy was overwhelmed with this baby. And so she came to stay with us with Christopher. So I must have been, I'm thinking I was 12 when she stayed with us for about 4 or 5 months. And he had trouble. He just, she had to put a contact lens in his eye, and trying to help the eyeball get bigger. And if you've ever tried to put a contact lens in a baby, like a 4-month-old baby, they don't like it and they scream. And he was, I'm sure he was a very nice baby. I just remember when he was little that when I was 12, I said to myself, I'm never having children. But I was a kid, I was like, ugh, gross, disgusting. They scream. Anyway, so as time went on, he wore glasses. Um, he grew up. He grew up to be a very nice kid. Um, I knew him very well, even though my sister Mindy did not live in Michigan, where I grew up. We saw quite a bit of her. There would be hurricanes or whatever, and she would come home. And my mom and dad were happy to have her. You know, but as she had more children, she didn't come home as much. Anyway, so I knew Christopher very well. Well, Christopher grew up and he got married, and he married a lady that was not a dentist, but she was a dental tech in the Navy. And they were very happy. And they decided that Christopher would be a stay-at-home dad, and so they had two little girls, and he was the stay-at-home dad. Excuse me. So they got stationed in England, and he used to go on Facebook all the time and post pictures of the girls. And it was really funny. They had like a toy giraffe, and every day on Facebook the giraffe would do something like it was funny, like the giraffe was eating breakfast, or the giraffe was having coffee, or the giraffe was playing in the backyard. And he probably did it to amuse his children, but I found it quite amusing. So anyway, as things go, they came back to the United States. She got out of the military, and they ended up getting a divorce, and they were in Missouri. And I'm sure it was very devastating to him. But, he went into, since he didn't have the girls all the time, he had to get a job. So he's been working as a landscaper. And his eyeball got really bad. So I was talking to my sister Mindy about 2 years ago, and she said that he just decided to have it removed because he was having a lot of headaches, and the eyeball had shriveled to the point where it was worthless, and so he had it removed, and he did not like wearing the glass eyes, so he just wore glasses. And my sister was upset because, if there's not an eyeball in there, I guess that it shrinks. And so my sister was very concerned. Mindy was concerned that he would have a lot of problems with that. So I was in Lizzie's live, and I got a text, and Christopher has sent a picture to his mother, and he has a brain tumor. And I will put what it is right here, and I will put the text in too. Not the text, I'll just do the picture. Apparently, he's been having a lot of headaches, and he did not feel well. And his roommate had him go to the hospital because they thought he had the COVID. and he did the COVID test and it wasn't the COVID. So he went home, you know. He's just like he had the flu or something. So then he had another really, really bad headache, and this time he ran the fever. So they took him, his roommate was like, "You're going to the emergency room." Well, this time they ended up doing a CAT scan, and yeah, he's got a brain tumor. So, I guess it's really bad. He's 40 years old. My heart is breaking for my sister Mindy. She lost one child already, but to lose a second one is just. And the doctors told him, unfortunately, there's not a lot that can be done because, I mean, they could go in and operate it, but the survival rate is 5% on the surgery because of where it is, and it also, the chemotherapy doesn't do anything to it except aggravate it and make it grow faster. The the how do you say, the livability rate is 5%. 5 years. So yeah, I just I my sister. And she lives in Virginia, so it's not like I can go and love on her. So yeah. Oh my God. And those girls, they're such daddy girls because, you know, he was the one that, oh God, it's absolutely awful, and I am beside myself. We're in shock right now. He named it Karen. I don't know why, but he did. He named his tumor Karen, and he said he's gonna fight. And yeah, that sucked. That sucks big time. I'm totally depressed, sad. I don't want it to be true, but it is. You know. So yeah, my sister Mindy was in vacation in Maine with visiting her husband's family, and they came home right away. I'm sure she's going to head out to Missouri to see what can be done or to help him. Yeah. If you're a praying person, I'd appreciate it. His name is Christopher. Um, yeah, I appreciate it. The other thing is I know these things always happen during lives. So yesterday I was in Billy's live, and I decided that I was going to eat some leftovers. So there was some leftover mashed potatoes and like a hamburger patty. My husband calls them hamburger steak, but basically it's a hamburger patty that he cooks in gravy. And so that was what I was going to eat for lunch, and I was going to watch Billy's live, and I was in there. And I was cooking in the microwave, and I smelled something like plastic or whatever. And we live out in the country, and occasionally we'll smell weird smells like farmers burning stuff, you know, or, you know, in the country people burn things. And plus, right across the street from us is a center where you drop off like your aluminum cans, and then they weigh them and pay them for you, like a recycling yard. And so it was a weird plasticky smell. So we were thinking that, you know, that it was the recycling plant, or the recycling center or whatever. Maybe they were burning something, you know, who knows. So I said something to Greg, and I said, but it smells really strong in the house. And we didn't have we didn't have windows open. We had the air conditioning on because it's just been warm, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Very, very, very warm. So Greg's like, I don't know, Lisa. And he starts sniffing around. And in the bathroom, oops, I'm going to get that out of there. Excuse me, I need to get my tweezers. So we went in the bathroom, and there's a fan over the shower, and it's a crankable window, and so it goes out to the roof of the trailer. And so he had taken a shower earlier, and he had left the fan running, and I'll be damned, but it wasn't the fan motor had burned out, and we realized that in the bedroom the lights were like pulsating, like flick, flick, not going totally off, but they were pulsing. And I was like, what is that? And I guess because the fan motor burned out, it was still on and burning, that it was messing with the breaker electricity. So he pushed the button on the fan, and we assumed it was shut off because then the light stopped flicking. But now the fan's burned out in the bathroom, and we don't know, needs to be fixed because we need to have air circulation in the bathroom because it's the size of a closet. So yeah, that kind of scared us because we were afraid that there was going to be like a fire going on or something. Which leads me to another story. So we aired out the house, got that clean, and Greg's like, I was going to go to my dad's today, but I'm going to bow out because, I want to see if anything happens with that fan. And I was like, oh, okay. And he called his dad, and his dad's like, that's fine, we can do it on Saturday. But when he was talking to his dad, he's like, he hung up the phone, he goes, my dad's really drunk. And my mother-in-law has been spending a lot of time at her mother's house. She's 103. And she lives in Tyler, Texas, which is about 6 hours from us. And so when my mother-in-law's not home, my father-in-law, he drinks too much. And he's diabetic. And he's in his 70s. And I'm sure he just eats hot dogs and whatever he wants to eat. To top it off, he's legally blind. He can see, but he's not, but he can't drive. So, we worry about him a lot. And when my mother-in-law's out of town, my husband will drop by on his way home from work, or my brother-in-law or whatever. And I wouldn't say babysit or whatever, but we stop and the boys try and stop and see him. And I just spilled my drills. So anyway, we called my mother-in-law, and she was on her way home, so we did not think anything of it. And so we had talked to her, and she was on the road. I don't remember why we called her, just to say, hey, what's up? But anyway, she said she'd be home about 6 because she wanted to watch the ball game. She's a big Yankees fan, and I don't know why. She grew up in Texas, but she's always just liked the Yankees, and the Yankees were in the playoff. And by the way, they lost last night. So anyway, am I still recording? Yes. So we had planned to have dinner that night, and about 7, I would say, Greg was just starting to talk about he was going to start making supper, and his phone rang, and I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. I wonder who's calling. And it was my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law had bent over to pick up the dog dishes to feed the dogs, and he fell over and clunked his head on something. We're not really sure, the railing on the porch, or I don't know what he did, but yeah, he clunked over and he was unconscious. My mother-in-law could not get him to talk to her. So she was very upset, and when we come over, well, we live a good, oh, we live south of San Antonio, so it took us a little bit to get there. But we were on the phone constantly with her. And of course, Greg's been drinking, so I had to drive. And we figured out that I had a headlight out on my Subaru, which I'm like, great, it's getting dark, you know. So we drove, and we got there, and we passed the ambulance, and she had called 911, and because she couldn't get him up. And so I guess by the time the ambulance people came, they said that he had started making sense. They asked if he had been drinking, and she said yes. And she said, how many did he drink? And she said 5 beers all day, but you know, if you like to drink, you usually say it's less. Like my husband will say he had 5 beers, and he's actually had 8. It's just the way drinkers do. So anyway, my mother-in-law thinks he probably had 8. She said there was a lot of empty bottles. Anyway, so they said, we think you should go to the hospital with all your health problems. He also has scoliosis, which means his spine is curved. And so he has a lot of back problems. It's another thing that has, so he's blind, legally blind. He's diabetic. He's not insulin. He doesn't take insulin. He checks his blood sugar and takes pills. He's in his 70s. He has scoliosis. I mean, literally. The last thing he should be doing is drinking. And he does it, what are you going to do? My mother-in-law's gone. He wants to drink. He's a grown man. What are you going to say, So anyway, my husband was very, 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 very upset. And we ended up staying there until 2 a.m. They released him from the hospital. They did a CT scan. I ended up falling asleep on they have our boxers and their boxers. So there's 4 boxers in the house, German boxers. And they have these big pillows on the ground. They're dog pillows. And so I pushed 2 dog pillows together and cuddled up and went to sleep. And so my husband went with my mother-in-law at 1 a.m. to go get my father-in-law out of the hospital because she couldn't go and stay because of the COVID. She had to just stay home. And he had called us about 11, and my mother-in-law and I had gone out and gotten food. So we were eating, and he said, I'm starving. And she's like, I don't think anything's open, but and it depends on what time they let you go. So we ended up eating a hamburger at my mother-in-law's house at like 11 o'clock at night, and then I fell asleep about 12:30 on dog pillows. So my husband woke me up about 2:30 when they got back. Actually, the dogs woke me up. And then we came home, and by the time I got to bed, it was 3 a.m. So yeah. Greg called this morning, and he's doing okay, but he went over there. That's why he's not here while I'm doing this. So. Yeah. And then, I know, isn't life fun? Hurricane Delta hit Louisiana right where it's was a few months ago. We haven't had rain in at least 3 weeks, and so we didn't get any rain. We didn't get any hurricane weather, even though it looked like it was coming straight for Texas. And to top it off, because of the hurricane, I guess it messes with the atmospheric pressure, we're having record high heat. So today it's supposed to get up to 93, and I will put in the whatever, what that is in Celsius. And then tomorrow, which is Sunday, it's going to be even hotter, which was like 98, 99. And I'll do that in Celsius too. But the feel like temperature is 103. So it's almost November, people. It's almost, yeah, I know. It's middle of October. It's almost November. And it's just flipping high. And it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, ridiculous. So, but after that, after the hurricane kind of goes on its way, we should get back to normal temperatures, with the highs being in the low 80s and the lows being in the 60s. So, and I'm telling you what, hot. So yeah, I really would like this week to be over with. I wish it was Monday already. It's been a crappy couple days. So I'm glad it's almost over with. And my painting, yes, Susan, is popping. And it didn't pop at first, but I go around and I'm like, why are you sticking up? So I'm thinking that the places where I'm done, I'm gonna spray it with that spray that I bought, that Patricia Nemok clear acrylic sealer. Can you see it? I think I'm gonna push it down and then quick spray it. Oops, I got a 310 stuck to me. And then finish it out and just spray. I think that'll be my best bet. And, happy Thanksgiving, all my Canadian people. And what else? I'm going to say one other thing. Oh, my back was itching the other day. And my husband's like, so I pulled up my shirt. I'm like, scratch my back, honey. He's like, what is this on your back? And he pulled a round drill off my back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And a round drill stuck to my back, and it was making me itch. So I hope you all had a better week and are blessed and thankful. Thank you for being my listening to my stories, and it's like therapy to get crap out of my head and move on with it. It works for me, but happy Thanksgiving, you silly Canadians. Bye.